speak very loud, okay? Without microphone. Okay. So today we are going to practice how to draw cylinders in in perspective drawing. Okay, and cylinder and also sphere. Okay, and also some other application. For example, maybe we can draw a toy car or something like that, and also box. Okay. So initially, remember, right? Previously, I asked you to. Our first mission is, as usual, we draw a box, right? Following our perspective drawing, 2-point perspective. Okay. So you can use traditional method as well. Okay. You can use the method I told you before, perspective drawing, but to complete a cube first. Cube. Okay. So if you finish the cube, right, we start to do some observation, of this cube. Cube means every side seems to be equal in length, right? Their lengths are the same, right? Their edge got the same length. For example, if your cube, if your paper is 3 centimeter, then at this edge, and this edge, they are the same size, right? That's so-called a cube, right? So initially you draw a cube like this. Just following previous practice I told you before, right? Remember, okay? You can complete your cube like this, okay? Next, we are going to draw circle in perspective view, okay? Circle in perspective view. Yes. I recorded. Here is 5 minutes. We are going to draw circle in perspective view, right? But we are going to attach the circle over here inside this cube, right? Start from this face first, okay? This time I use the green color, and you can see the circle more clearly. Okay. Initially, each edge I divide it into 2. You can just select the middle point. Okay. Middle point of the edge. Middle point each edge. Okay, use the green color to define the middle point, the green of the green edge. Okay. Maybe later I finish this one and I draw a larger one over here. You can have the more clarity. Okay. I start from this space to draw a circle. Okay. You see the green one? I define the middle point over here, right? And then this middle point and this middle point, in between, I use really, you can say, flatter, you can say curve. You know what I mean? A flatter curve is more like this. Okay. I strengthen it a little bit for you to have look. Yes, sit closer if possible. Okay. Later I will upload this video to Moodle as well. This here is flatter. Okay. Opposite to this one, you draw another one also flatter over here, right? Okay. You see it. Okay. And then from these two middle points, you know, you can draw some guideline over here. Cross line. Right? And then right, then you can see the center point of this face. You know, remember this one, you know, this shape in perspective view is a square. Okay, it's a square. Okay, square. So this point over here as well. Remember here is flatter, but here is sharper. Then flatter curve, sharper, curve. You know, to make it a pair. You know, they are all a pair. You know, here is I can say sharper. You know, here is also. Right. So in overall, it looks a little bit similar to oval shape, but if you check your paper in detail, maybe it's more like I zoom in a little bit, right? If you draw I zoom in, make it larger. Okay, for the top. So then middle point over here. If you look then at the detail, it's actually not exactly oval. It's more like an egg. You know, a circle in perspective. In perspective drawing, is more like egg. Remember, it's not exactly like an oval. Why? Because this edge is actually shorter. You know, here is shorter. This one is longer. Okay. Okay. So here you got a very. Let me use the green one. Okay. It's a very sharp edge over here. I make it larger. I strengthen it. Don't you see it's actually more like an egg rather than oval, right? So, right? If I zoom in, this sign, then it's more like an egg. Please remember, okay? Please remember this sentence. Circle, a circle in perspective drawing is more like an egg, but like an healed, E-I-L-D, healed egg, healed like this way, Okay? Okay? So, the same thing, if I draw from this side, a circle from this side, okay? As usual, I divide it into 4 middle points, okay? Remember, if I draw a circle from this side, then I found the sharper curve over here. And right, you try to make it smoother, right? So the other edge is more like here. Okay? The other circle. Alright? And what will happen over here? Okay. As usual. See, you got basic understanding through to look at the circle through different viewpoints. More like this. Okay. Alright. So that's the first practice. You know, in your column, draw something like this. Okay. That's the first column. The first column. You know, select one column to draw it. Okay, you can draw smaller. Alright. So the first practice is more like that. Quickly see your progress. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, here we are. Okay, secondly, let's start to draw cylinder. A cylinder, right? As usual, you draw basically this time as what I told you previously. Draw a box first, but to make it more like a cylinder, please make the box slightly longer. Okay, like here, right? Like here. Okay. Remember, this side should be equal as this side. Okay. Two sides, they are equal. This side and this side. They are equal, right? And I'm going to draw a cylinder. As usual. One second, let me complete here as well. Make it more clear. So I use the green color. Find out the middle point. Find the middle point, and then draw letter circle. And a sharper circle over here. Remember, like an egg, which is tail, a tail egg. You know egg, right? Egg here is it's flatter and here is sharper cylinder. As usual, the other side over there. Find out the middle point, middle point, middle point, middle point. Okay, and maybe find out the center line, the cross line. As a reference. Remember here, here is sharper, like an egg. Okay. Right? So eventually using depict. Right. So this one is the second drawing, a cylinder. Okay. Initially, just as I say, complete two, I can say X from two faces, and then link them together from the edge. Okay, so you see, initially complete two X from two faces, and then link these two, then become a cylinder, right? You can draw the cylinder from the other side, okay? The other side, maybe I draw another cube. Now I draw another cube. This one is a cube. I'm going to draw a cube. Please draw a cube first. I'm going to draw a standing cylinder. This cylinder is actually laying on the ground. Okay, but I'm going to draw a cylinder which is standing. As usual, I use this time I use the red color. Initially I define the middle point. And then find the center line very quickly. Following the longer side, I draw letter H. Okay. And see, in the vertical direction, these two sides, they are flatter. But in horizontal direction, these two sides, left and right, they are slightly sharper over here, right? But remember, this one is no longer like an egg, right? Because you have to follow the tendency, you know. You have to follow the structure. Actually, this face of cube, you know, this face, top face of the cube is more like a kite, you know, a kite flying in the air, that kind of kite, right? A kite. Okay. A kite. Okay. Kite. So here, let me try to find out the ground face as well. More like this. Right? And as usual, you find the middle point and roll it. Okay. But I'm not going to complete all of them because I'm going to link the edge together. Basically, I didn't realize because we got many students over here, and previously we got some sort of pandemic prevention. So our classroom is too big. Okay. In addition, they provide me this kind of whiteboard. It's very difficult for drawing. You know, in comparison, traditional blackboard is better. It's way much better for drawing if I'm using a chalk. Okay. The chalk is better for demonstrating drawing. Okay. So this one is a cylinder. When it is become standing up. Okay. Basically, you know, you can draw something like this. Invisible line behind, you know. You don't need to draw it. It's behind your face. Okay. Invisible line. Okay, so this one is the second column. Okay. Second column, you draw these two drawing inside the second column. All right.